Alrighty, y'all. So I'm calling this my 80s, 90s knife collection, and some of these knives that I actually owned in the 90s, and but most of them were knives that I just kind of admired through the glass at the local sporting goods store. So at Green Top Sporting Goods back in the day, they had a little section to the right of the gun counter, and they had a bunch of like higher end knives. And these were knives that I would look at the price and, I would ask how much they cost and just look at them and, just kind of standing there, just in love with these knives that I was like, I'm never going to have these. So I wanted to do a video and I started kind of collecting some of those knives. And, this didn't happen all at once. A lot of these knives were bought in like 3 different decades or something like that. So real quick, let's do a flyby kind of close, just so y'all can kind of see what we're working with here. A little close, a little bit of a close-up, and then I'm going to go through each knife, talk a little bit about it. I have a pile of sheaths over there. I didn't have room, but if I have time, or if this video doesn't go too long, I'm going to go over the sheaths. All right, let's see. I guess I should keep filming this way. I guess first let's talk about the knife that I actually had. Okay, and there was a lot of the Gerbers and stuff were in one case. One of the knives that I actually did get, this Imperial survival knife. So this is a knife that I had about 5th grade, and I got this, I think I got it for Christmas. And that was a pretty big deal, back in the day. And this is more of a bayonet that was repurposed into a survival knife, which is kind of a terrible idea because it doesn't chop well. It's like a stabbing knife with a saw on the back. But with the sheath, I actually have used, I used it to hammer. I used the nail puller. I killed some snakes and stuff with this. And, but I had this knife at a young age. But this knife came from Green Top Sporting Goods. And let's see, I'll show you guys the sheath for that. So this is the sheath. It has like a little, like a scabbard insert. Came with a compass. Do I have the compass? I don't think I have the compass. I have no idea where that is. It could be in my stuff somewhere. But that was the sheath that came with. And you can see it's got some wear, because I wore this thing all over the place. All right, so that's the Imperial survival knife. Now the next knife I got, probably mid-90s, was this Ontario. And this was, what, the Spec 7 or something? Spec Plus Fighter. And I did some stuff to this. I cut the back piece off. And I also cut that little ramp off, because I would throw this and it throws better without that. And so I cut that piece off. And this knife has done some stuff and seen some things. But I had this in my teens, like early mid-teens. But this is the knife I had, and here is the sheath that I spray painted. I think my dog actually got a hold of this at some point, one of the dogs. All right, let's go this way. All right, so this is the Spec Plus Raider, and I just noticed this, but this thing is bent. I don't know how the hell this thing got bent. Who knows? I could have been throwing it. I'm not sure, but it's definitely is bent. But so this is the Raider Bowie, and little did I know that I would be designing a Raider Bowie in the future. But I got this in the '90s, and it got kind of rusty. I had this in the back of my Jeep in a toolbox, so I spray painted it. And so I haven't really used it much since then, since I think I painted this around 2008, and I just haven't really used it since then. You know, it's a knife I had growing up. I'll never get rid of it. But that's that. All right. I think I'm going to turn sideways for this one. Let's one more knife. So this knife, the rigid, it's like a rigid, I forgot what this thing is called. If there's like a name for it. What does it say on there? But it's like a Japanese steel. It's a rigid Bowie. My brother actually got one of these. I think he got it from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And we had traded this same knife back and forth. And I shot him with a slingshot. And I promised him this knife back if he didn't tell on me. And I think I traded it back, maybe for a magazine or something. I don't know. Like, we traded this thing a bunch of times, and then I actually he wanted it back because somebody broke into my car when I was going to college, and I had to get him to retype my English 200 paper, and that's what he wanted back for typing my paper. Was that knife back? So he has the knife back. So I actually bought that one just because I kind of wanted that, you know, for memory's sake. All right, let's go through these. All right, some of these have some oil on it. I'm probably going to wipe them down good before I put them away, but there could be some stuff on them. Now this is the Buck 184. I need to get some spikes with this. And this was a knife that always looked, you know, really crazy. It had the spikes on there. You're like, oh, wow, that's cool. And I guess this was inspired by the Rambo knife, the Lyle design. But, you know, cool knife. Something that I didn't think that I was going to end up getting. I've been shopping for these things for a while. And I came across one. And I got lucky, and the one I got just happened to be in really good shape. So that's good. All right, this one I didn't know about till later. This was not, so this one was actually in the sporting goods store. The Anaconda was not in the sporting goods store. I guess this is, what was this, the Anaconda II, which I think is the same size as the Anaconda I. And I actually did not know really about this knife until later. I think that I had seen it maybe in a magazine, but nothing local for that one. All right, the Gerber Mark II. Sorry about my dog back there snoring. So this knife has been in a bunch of movies. I think both Under Siege movies, newer Winter Soldier movies. I have the 70s version of this with the gray handle, and I have the one made in 2008 that has the more squared serrations. But this knife was in the case at green top, and this was one that I would stare at as a kid. See if I can keep these straight. All right, this is the Gerber BMF. All right, so one thing that's surprising about this is the handle is actually a lot fatter than I thought it was going to be. But, you know, like my fingers can't even wrap all the way around that. It has like a little smasher, some lanyard holes. It is a cool knife. I will give it that. And this was another one that was at Green Top. And there's the LMF too. I guess that's the Little Mofo. I don't have one of those. I don't think I'm going to get the little one. It's good enough, I think, having the big mofo. I got this one. This is one of the first ones I got later on, and fairly recently, was the Gerber Australian. And this one, for whatever reason, keeps rusting back. I clean this thing and I put it back in the sheath, and it's like the rust just comes right back. But this is the Gerber Australian. This is the cool knife, coffin handle, kind of like a fighting Bowie design, but heavy duty, cool knife. And the Gerber Australian was also at Green Top. This one, I can't remember if Green Top carried SOG at the time. I actually bought this in the Marine Corps from the PX. And these have gone up in value substantially. I think I bought this for like $110, and haven't really carried it. My sheath is camo, but the knife is in good shape. And this is a very nice feeling knife. And SOG, I think, what is it? I think I said it, the SOG Desert Dagger. Next knife. So I did not know that this company was making knives in Richmond. Gary Eck, son of John Eck, the World War II knife designer. He was making these in Richmond. Things ended up changing hands, and they went to Illinois, and now K-Bar owns the name. And I actually keep in contact with Gary. Let me show you, I'll put this down real quick. So I actually found this knife in Germany, and it had this sheath that was made for it, that Gary made this. So alligator skin knife sheath for the Eck. Eck knives, very cool checkering, has that wasp style blade. All right, and Cold Steel Trailmaster. This one has some light pitting on it. I'm guessing it rusted sometime before I got it, and probably got cleaned up. But this is an older Trailmaster. I thought you could see it. I can see it somewhere on there. Here it is. But I'm not going to actually use this. This is collectible, and I went ahead and got the Stag. I cannot remember if Green Top carried Cold Steel at the time. They may have, but I don't remember seeing that one. And this one I got recently. I didn't know about Bill Bagwell until recently. Then I found out that he had a production knife with Ontario. The Bagwell Hell's Bell. And I got this because I just kind of wanted to see, feel the balance of, what he thought was like a good, balanced fighter. One thing I do think is cool about these, maybe not on the production one, but on his customs, he would almost do a full flat on about a 1/4 inch or more, and then convex the tip to keep more meat at the tip, and a sharp swedge, but not like paper cutting sharp, like sharp enough, I guess, to do back cuts. So there's all that, that Bowie fighting stuff with back cuts and everything. I'm not an expert on that, and I forgot the guy's last name, but it's Rolando something. He's got a bunch of Bagwell Bowies and does a bunch of training with Bowies. And I think he likes this as far as it being a production. All right, what else? I don't think I talked about this one. SOG Pentagon. I bought this recently. I bought my brother one for his deployment. I think I actually bought my brother a desert dagger. No, actually, no, I'm my mistake. I'm wrong. I bought my brother a desert dagger. He bought himself the SOG Pentagon. So this is a nice. I mean, all these this knife feels great as well. Kind of light, a nice balance. I like that texturing. I don't know how long this rubber will last, but the knife, it's a nice knife. And I didn't own this until later on as well. So just a quick recap. The knives that I actually remember being in the smaller, like, you know, kind of premium knife case, the Buckmaster, or the Buck 184, Gerber Mark II, Gerber BMF, Gerber Australian. And I think that was all the knives that I really remember being in the case. Now the smaller case to the side, this knife was in there. The Imperial, kind of survival bayonet, whatever they want to call that. That knife was in there. I remember seeing that knife. I do not remember what other knives were in that case. So, and I really wish I knew, over there where these knives were made, there was a bladed museum in Richmond that I wish I knew that was. I wish I knew it was there before it closed, because I would have really liked to go see that. All right. So, you know, the knives I actually owned, I owned that Ontario 7, the Fighter. It's like the Spec Plus Fighter. I owned the Rigid Bowie. I owned the Ontario Raider Bowie, and I owned that. But most of these other ones are knives that I've added to my collection since then. And I'll look at the sheaths real quick. Let's go here and look at the sheaths. So as far as sheaths, that's the Buck 184. This is the kind of not so awesome Anaconda sheath. See, this was the BMF. And that's that Imperial. Gerber Australian. Gerber Mark II. It's the Egg Commando with the wood grips. SOG Pentagon. Ontario Hells Bell. Ontario Spec Plus Fighter. Ontario Raider Bowie. And Cold Steel Trailmaster. And this is what I did to the sheath that I had. And this was the SOG Pentagon sheath. I kind of did a little OD green job on that. And put a leg lanyard on there. I think that's it. All right. So thanks for watching. And while I'm gonna finish this up, I'm also currently looking for a couple more knives. I'm looking for a Anaconda II, and I'm looking for an Emerson Timberline Spec War, or Timberline Spec War, and I was looking for something else. I can't remember. But those are the ones that are kind of on my radar now. But hope y'all enjoyed it. For some of you younger Gen X guys, this might bring back some memories. But hope you enjoy the video. If you like it, you know, leave me a comment, leave me a like. You know, Instagram and YouTube don't like this type of content, so you know, it helps me out some. My channel's not monetized. recently YouTube has been monetizing my videos on my behalf, I guess, for them. So I'm not crazy about that. So I've never had my channel monetized. And I don't really plan to do that. It's not like a thing that I really want to do. So y'all have a good one. Be safe. And also check out Knife Rights. It's like the Gun Owners of America for knives. And there's a lot of really bad knife legislation. So check out Knife Rights. They're out there fighting for your knife rights. So we don't end up like the UK or Australia where they're making machetes and zombie knives illegal. All right.